with Detroit today. Yes, that kid who never heard of Driscoll played at Louisiana Tech, looked like 3 times the player our quarterback was.
Well, Danny,
it's crazy.
We could sit and go all day on the pros and cons or what happened today. But I tell you one thing that was constant, and that was Nagy with his play calling, his conservative play calling, 3 and out, folks, and against probably, and I don't know where to go with this almost anymore. Just watch the game plan that is put together from week to week to week to week. My God, you're playing against a team that's almost dead last in defense. And we got to struggle to win this game.
You know, at the very end, folks, okay, and again, okay, Trubisky threw 3 touchdown passes. Hoorah! That's his damn job. He should have been throwing 3 a week. Finally, he actually does a little bit, which is good. But you tell me, Detroit was in a 9-man line the last 2 drives, and we were scared to throw it because you know why, I know why, and Detroit knows why, because this kid, I'm just telling you, it defies belief what we see on a weekly basis from that kid.
Well, I tell you what, we got to go out to L.A. next Sunday night. We've got to play the Rams, and I just mentioned and alluded to a little while ago that we got to go to Detroit, we got to go to Green Bay, we got to go to Minnesota. We got Patrick Mahomes is back. He lit it up again today.
400 yards.
He's over probably 400 yards already. I don't know how many touchdowns he's thrown.
They lost, by the way, 35-32. Tennessee beat him. A lot of crazy scores today in the NFL, guys, by the way. We'll get to that in a little bit here, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying we got Kansas City coming in here with Patrick Mahomes. And we got to play the Rams, and we got to play the Cowboys yet too. So a lot of fires coming our way.
Yeah,
and
Cowboys
you had
number 1 in
mentioned
the league in
about
offense.
Khalil Mack. Okay, you know this kid. Is he a great football player and a really good football player? Yes, he is. Okay, there's no question about it. Can you have a bad game? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you can't have 5 bad games. Not when you're making $141 million for 6 years, which brings it to $23.5 million a year, which brings that down to if he plays basically, I'm pretty sure my mathematics is correct on this, if he plays about 50 plays a game, that's roughly, he makes about $30,000 a play.
3rd down.
Nickel package on 3rd and 7. Driscoll, strong arm, and he hits his man Marvin Jones. A bullet downfield as he's brought down at the 20. It covers 22 yards.
Galladay and Jones on the same side of the field. You saw Galladay.
Offense 27th in scoring, less than 18 points per game. Trubisky trying to hang in there, and he waited way too long. Lost it at the end of the play, but was already ruled down. Devon Kennard.
Yeah, Kennard picks up his 4th sack.
It's a 54-yard attempt for Matt Prater, trying to add to the Detroit lead. Prater's kick is good. 6-0 line. On 4th down, Trubisky on the give. Good second effort. Montgomery has enough for the 1st down. He is built like a tank.
Between Coward and Massey.
And 2nd and 5. Trubisky lays it out there. Caught! Touchdown! Ben Brodnacker for the Bears.
Tremendous throw by Trubisky. And Brodnacker gets his first career touchdown on a corner route here as he powers by Will Harris.
Swing pass. Catch made. Cohen, does he have the angle? Yes! Touchdown, Bears!
He had the angle and he had the speed. It's going to Cohen the whole way. On a little swing pass, you can see the receivers on that side all coming to the
short for Detroit. Quick hitter is intercepted by Kwiatkowski. And it's Driscoll there for the tackle. Lions turn it over.
To his right all the way. Great read by
man. 3rd and 9. Trubisky trying to keep the drive alive. Or looking for it all. Touchdown! Taylor Gabriel. Trubisky with a strike.
3 touchdown passes. Here's his 3rd of the afternoon. The man-to-man coverage. And
pass. 3 tight ends in this formation. Fake, rush coming. Driscoll is sacked. Untouched Nick Williams.
Going to be his 6th sack, so he now leads the...
Here comes the rush. Trubisky. Oh, big loss on the play. Trey Flowers stuck with it in Chicago territory. A loss of 12.
Well, Flowers in a good fight there with Charles Leno, but
Driscoll steps up. He's not going to beat Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski has been a thorn in Driscoll's side, and he drives, sensing the pressure, telling his receiver to go long, and he's going to try it. On a deep shot, touchdown! Kenny Golladay! Jeff Driscoll lets it fly, and the Lions are alive.
First of all, just a great job of getting out of the pocket, avoiding the sack, and then letting it fly, as you said, Ian. Just a little bit of...
With that when we get there. 3rd and 11. Rush coming. Trubisky is sacked. Wrapped up by Tavai. On 3rd and 1 for Detroit. Driscoll right through the hands of Golladay, the wide receiver. On 4th and 1. Driscoll. They need a yard. They'll get it. Flagged out.
Pass interference. Number 19. Offense. Correction number 18.
Driscoll on 4th down. Rifles it. Incomplete. Golladay the target. Handoff. Montgomery the spin move. Cannot get to the marker, and a quick timeout called. Driscoll hooks a pass. It's caught. 1st down. Driscoll uncorks. It's caught. Turning it upfield, Hawkinson. 1st down for Detroit at its own 45. Fake the run. Driscoll hits his man. It's Marvin Jones Jr. Driscoll, rush is coming. Tosses it downfield. Trying to come back for the football. Marvin Jones, and it is a clean catch.
This combination.
21 seconds left in a 7-point game. Driscoll through the air. Nice hands, but time is going to be an issue now. Shotgun, Driscoll. Driscoll steps up. Driscoll will dart one. End zone. Incomplete. And a flag down.
Over the line of scrimmage. Would not have counted if it was complete.
And the Bears are going to hold on.
Pass. Offense. The passer was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. That penalty's declined. That's the end of the game.
$30,000 a play. He better walk on water, which he has not been doing.
312-981-7200 is the phone number. It might not sound like it right now, but the Bears did win. They beat the defense.
No, I gave them their congratulations. They won. But what are you talking about? A team with a quarterback that really hasn't even played. The main quarterback is out. The one team is worse than they are on defense. They come in here. We didn't play in Detroit. We played in Chicago. My God, what are you supposed to tell them? Oh, they were great. They ran away with the game. They did, which they should have, but they didn't. It came down to the last second, Mark.
It wasn't pretty, but it was a win, and the losing streak that needed to go away is away, and whatever small percentage of hope there is that the Bears will make the playoffs this year. I know that's a long way from happening here, but they do keep whatever little percentage is alive. They needed a win today, and they did get it.
You know, take a look at our offensive line. How our offensive line played today.
I agree.
Our offensive line, I don't know who they blocked. They really didn't block anybody. I mean, how many sacks did Detroit have? 4 or 5?
They had 5.
5 sacks.
We had 2 on their backup quarterback who threw, 48 passes today? We'll get the stats in a minute.
They had 46. Their defensive line had 5 sacks, and they're the 31st worst defense in the league, and they had 5 sacks against us. Now, I'm supposed to be thrilled that the Bears won the game, et cetera, et cetera. You got to look at all these little things, offensively and defensively. How did they play? Did they miss tackles? Did they rush the passer? This is all, everything comes into play. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. How many games, and to our listeners out there, how many games you think we're going to win when we're going to start to play some teams that are pretty damn good with 3 and out, 3 and out, and with Nagy throwing 3 and 4 yard passes? Because that's what the hell we've been doing.
Well, 9 games into the season, the Bears have gone 3 and out now to start the game 4 times. 4 out of 9. They've also scored 1 touchdown on their first possession.
And what about our defense? You know, the rumor has it we had a great defense somewhere. Where are they? You know, Detroit, backup Betty at quarterback, right down the field to the 3 yard line, and he makes a bad throw into the end zone. Otherwise, we're down 7-0. Now it's another, it's another headache all day. Finally, we force him into a bad throw, so they kick the field goal. We're down 6-0. And again, if you were to flip the jerseys, you would have thought, oh, yeah, that's the Bears playing. But wait a minute, that was the Detroit defense. Think about this, folks. Think about this. The 31st ranked defense, and we barely get 50 yards of rushing when we had a lead and wanted to run the ball essentially the entire second half. Let me just tell you this. It's at some point, it all has to come to bear. You have to start hanging responsibilities on the people that are not getting their job. They're not getting their job done. And your point about the offensive line is dead on. Hey, they flopping the guard in the center. I don't know if that's going to. Well, here's the other part. Remember who we're playing this week, and again, we'll get to that. But remember, James Daniel blocked the Aaron Donald pretty well last year when we played the L.A. Rams. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. But our offensive line, they whiffed today. They stunk.
I'll tell you what, just real quickly here. We go out to the West Coast. We play the Rams, even though we won the game today, and it's great that we won. It's super. You win a game however you can win a game. But the fact of the matter is, every game this year, every game last year comes down to us scoring a few points, 10 points, 14 points, 15 points. It gets ridiculous after a while. Instead of letting that offense grow, letting them go down the field, it just doesn't happen.
Okay, there's a couple of players that played great today. We'll get to that as soon as we get back.
All right, 312-981-7200. Hampton OB with Cos with you till 5:30 ahead of Blackhawks hockey. Bears win 20-13 over the Detroit Lions. We'll take your calls next. And yes, the text line is open too if you want to not wait on hold. 312-981-7200 at 720 WGN.
I almost think that Nagy could put the card down and call plays. What's he hiding, really?
Now's Dan Fouts.
Hiding his stupidity.
Put the card down. Wow, Dan over the top rope right there.
Well, what he's talking about,
it's
you throw
ludicrous.
a 1 yard pass and 1 yard pass. What's all the guarding about?
And guys, I'm telling you, again, I was there on the sidelines. The opening game against the Packers, I expected a lot more of a vibe, electricity in the air from the team, from the players, and especially today. You lose 4 in a row. You haven't won a game since September, and you show up, and we go out there and flop around and let them drive right down our damn address to the 3. I'm telling you, this Nagy.
Let's do the Mueller game-changing moment, guys. It's sponsored by the Mueller Auto Group with family-owned dealerships in Highland Park, Gurnee, and Hoffman Estates. Mueller Automotive, you will not be disappointed. Mueller game-changing moment. It's got to be somewhere in that 3-touchdown run.
Yeah, it's down 6-0, and there was a penalty on the Detroit defense that enabled the Bears to continue a drive where Trubisky actually threw an excellent pass Browniker in the corner of the end zone for us to be able to take a lead 7-6 right at the end of the first half, and we built on it in the second, and then we went to sleep and didn't do a damn thing for 45 minutes.
Best throw of the year, I thought. Coming back after the 3:30 news with your calls, 312-981-7200. Bears beat the Lions 20-13 on 720 WGN.
So was this relief or excitement getting this win today?
A little bit of both. I feel like it's 50-50. We practice day in and day out to get the win, and it finally happened.
How were you guys able to get your groove back offensively, especially after a tough first quarter?
It's really just having that confidence, not worried about too much about the other team. It really starts with us and ourselves.
Can you take us through your touchdown, the little swing pass there?
Yeah, something coaches schemed up. We know they play a lot of man. Just everybody executed on what the play was supposed to be, and it happened.
What was the difference today? What allowed the offense to have a little success today?
The early touchdown, I feel like by Ben Browniker, that really ignited us. When one person on our team sees somebody else do something good, it's contagious.
Is there a little sigh of relief when you guys finally find the end zone and have that good drive late in the second half? And then how much does that help you carry it over into the third quarter?
It's definitely a sigh of relief. When what we've been practicing day in and day out happens on the field, it's just not us talking about it anymore, and it happens, and then it spreads. So then you have other players who step up and make plays also.
Did you see a difference with Mitch after that first touchdown, and then just his confidence maybe rising?
Yeah, I seen a difference in everybody. With the whole offense, because nothing's on the offense is ever one person doing anything. Well, rarely it is, but when everybody's clicking, everybody feels their energy. You get plays like you had today.
How tough was it to lose Danny Trevathan, and then you see Nick Kwiatkowski come in, and he was everywhere today?
It's definitely tough to lose DT, the biggest leader on our team. Never steers us in the wrong direction. I feel like he's the best vet, and then Quick, being behind him, learning from him, just stepped up and made a lot of plays today.
Is he, you call him the heart and soul of the team, Danny?
Yeah, definitely.
Is he the loudest guy, most vocal? In terms of leading?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
DT very, controlling over what the direction of the team. He never lets us bend or break, and he always brings people together.
Lost Pam somehow in the newsroom right now. We're not hearing her, so I'm going to jump in here. Bears do beat the Lions 20-13. Pam, we're not hearing you. Not exactly sure why. So why don't we just throw it to the break and see if we can reset coming on back here. Hampton will be with Cos till 5:30 on 720 WGN.
His niece was being sexually assaulted in their home in the 500 block of East 89th Place, but that Lewis was shot and killed while trying to rescue her. Kenneth Malone of Roseland is charged with first-degree murder in the case. A Chicago man killed in a car crash on the Stevenson Expressway has been identified as 45-year-old Jose Godino of Chicago. The crash happened near LaGrange Road yesterday morning. Police say Godino was rear-ended, forcing his truck to roll over into a ditch and catch fire. The 22-year-old driver of the other car refused medical treatment. And this Veterans Day weekend, moviegoers are choosing the World War II film Midway. That film scored a surprise victory at the box office over The Shining sequel Dr. Sleep this weekend. Midway pulled in an estimated $17.5 million in North American theaters. Stay tuned. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up on WGN. And in sports, we saw the Bears take their win on their season with a 20-13 victory over the Lions today. Hampton OB with Cos continue our post-game coverage right after the weather on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks host Toronto tonight. The pregame with Chris Bowden at 5:30. The face-off at 6 o'clock with John Weideman and Troy Murray on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. The inbound Ryan is solid right now from Cermak. It means a 30-minute trip in from 95th Street. The outbound side looks fine. Here are your other travel times. The Eden's looking good in both directions. The inbound Kennedy stop and go from North Avenue, 20 minutes in from O'Hare and 28 outbound. The inbound Ike in from Route 390, 34 minutes, 34 outbound as well. And the inbound Stevenson, 34 minutes in from I-355 and 37 outbound. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFF WFIX Chicago. And now the weather from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. We're having some cloudy skies this afternoon, dropping temperatures with a chance of rain before 8 p.m. Tonight, we drop to a low of around 26. Then tomorrow, snow is in the forecast. 1 to 3 inches are expected. Could get up to 6 inches some places in the west and northwest suburbs. Temperatures drop to around 22 by evening. Right now, it's 40 degrees at O'Hare, 42 at Midway, 41 in Frankfort, and 40 degrees at Chicago's Lakefront. I'm Pam Jones on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
2nd and 5. Trubisky lays it out there. Caught! Touchdown! Ben Bradovich for the Bears.
Tremendous throw by Trubisky. And Bradovich gets his first career touchdown on a corner route here as he powers by Will Harris and dives for that catch.
What are you laughing at, OB? That was a phenomenal throw. Right on the money. Bradovich with the nice move in the hands. That was a beautiful moment in the Bears win today over the Lions.
Yeah, listen, you congratulate. Again, they won the game. It's great. But I'm going to tell you what, as many good things that happened, I'll tell you what, my God, how in God's name? Last week we punted 9 times. We had 11 possessions. Today we had 12 possessions, and again, we punted 9 times. And we won a football game against a Detroit team that didn't have a quarterback, and they're 31st ranked in defense. 31st worst defense in the league.
Also missing running back Kerryon Johnson. So we're not.
Think about that. The worst defense. Okay. Miami. They're like a junior college. Think about this. They don't have their franchise quarterback. They don't have their so-called star running back, and yet they outgain us by 100 yards. They control the clock. They go up and down the field on us. Our offense. Okay. That highlight there to Bradovich in the on the corner route, it was a nice throw, a nice catch. They're professionals. They're supposed to do that. So, yay. That's awesome. But how about this, starting the game 3 and out? How about ending the game 4 out of 5 possessions? When we have the lead, we have the ball, we need to just burn clock, kill the game, and we go 3 and out 4 out of the last 5 possessions. The other one, all of them punts. But 4 out of the last 5 possessions, OB.
Yes.
3 and out. That's gutless. That is sickening gutless.
Let's get Kaz in here. Kazi, man, welcome to your show. Hampton will be with Kaz till 5:30 today ahead of Blackhawks hockey. Bears beat the Lions 20-13. Kaz, your thoughts on the Bears win over Detroit? The losing streak stops at 4.
Well, it's always good for the Bears to win, and so let's say congratulations. In the week-to-week NFL, a win is a win is a win. But having said that, all the things that, I didn't get to hear what you guys talked about, but here are my observations. We have no rushing game. Our quarterback, who had 3 touchdowns, and I'm really happy to see him make some improvements, but 3 of those 5 sacks were his fault. He didn't recognize the blitz coming. He didn't feel the pressure, and he went down. So, that's still things that a big-time NFL quarterback knows how to do. Dan, you alluded to it. With 2:13 left in the game, the Bears ran the ball 3 times and got a total of, 7 yards maybe, or 6 yards. So what are you saying about your quarterback when you run in that moment? Because basically, there's a lot of safe passes in the NFL, and, Matt Nagy has invented the dink and dunk safe pass. Why aren't you trying those? Why aren't you trying to throw the ball? Do you think the other teams would do that in the NFL? I mean, it's just goofy. I don't understand it. They're protecting the quarterback. That's the whole point of it. I watched the Detroit Lion offense that had a guy that nobody had ever heard of before go up and down the field on our defense. Our defense, that, the other thing, and again, I'm sure you guys probably touched base on this, Dan, but Mack, as good as he was last year, he's non-existent this year. Early on in the year, they doubled him, whatever they were doing. But now I'm watching this guy taking himself out on critical plays because he's tired. He's out of shape, and that defense is out of shape, and it showed itself in the fourth quarter when the Lions, with a minute 42 seconds, went all the way down the field, and it took the quarterback to make a mistake, 2 mistakes on the last 2 plays.
Connected so he could share pics from up here and, from down there. Stay connected with 3 networks in one with a little help from Google Fi.
To get excited about. I want to.
Cause see, and again, I was on the sidelines at the game, and I'm just telling you, these guys, they're not excited. They haven't won a game since September. And, did beat Washington, and yet they're strutting around out here going through the motions. They weren't getting after it. They weren't ready to play. And you know what? The poor fans up in the stands paying hundreds of dollars for tickets, hot dogs, and bad parking. And at the end of the day, these bums go out there, flop around, 3 and out, and then Detroit goes right down our address to the 3-yard line. Thankfully, we force them into a high throw in the end zone, and they have to kick a field goal. But all I know is this, and this is coming off the week when Stumblebum goes, I'm turning off the TVs because everybody's negative. There's a reason we're negative. Cause, tell me, that was a 9-man line that Matt Patricia, who out-coached our visor today, the arena visor man, he out-coached his pants off. But here's the thing. The last 2 drives, we need to get a first down and burn the damn clock. We can't even do that.
1 first down.
Yeah, there's a 9-man front, and we won't throw the ball. Why is that, Kaz? Why? Why is it?
Because he has no confidence in the quarterback. He has no belief in the quarterback, and he's just trying to play it safe and hope he hangs on to win. That's why. It's a pretty straightforward answer.
Okay, and the 3 touchdowns, that's going to be just a very faint deodorant to keep everybody off of this kid. If you can't trust him in the last quarter of a game when you've got a 2-touchdown lead. By the way, did y'all see the stat? The Bears had never lost a game when they had a 14-point lead at Soldier Field. That's 50 years. And we damn near did it today. We almost blew this game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to be excited because we did win. And that's what we're trying to say. We're excited for the victory. We're 4-5. The road gets much tougher. Lions, once the Lions, when Stafford was out, did anybody think we were going to lose today? Really? Now, did I think it would be this close? That it would come down to the last play of the game? Of course not. I thought the Bears would blow out the Lions.
Neither did I, Glenn.
Especially at Soldier Field. I mean, historically, the Lions lose there, and they play like dogs. And we let them hang around today, and they wanted no part of it, and we let them hang around.
Well, I'll tell you what, kiddo, and again, it's probably about the maybe the 3rd time I'm going to say this. I'll tell you what, the easy games are about done with, okay? Now, not unless every team that we're going to play the following week, their quarterback is out. But I'll tell you, we've got to go to L.A. and play the Rams, and there's going to be a little revenge game in there, and how our offensive line is going to block Donald, their inside guy, I have absolutely no idea. And by the way, speaking about inside people, Akeem Hicks. I said last year that Akeem Hicks was the man, not Khalil Mack. And and if anybody, I'll go with anybody, game by game, play by play last year, and explain to you exactly what I mean. Now, Mack is not in there. Excuse me. Hicks is not in there.
And you're right, and they're different.
And I'll tell you what, it's a world of difference. I've got some stats that I like to read a little bit later, and they're astonishing. When Akeem Hicks has been out of there, what has happened to the Bears defense, especially our line? Some of the stats are unbelievable. But the Bears have in the line, just like it was back when they won, is Dan Hampton, the inside man. He killed everybody up the front. Same thing with Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks is out of there. Where is all the rest of the people, folks? Akeem Hicks what a great player, and boy, do we miss him.
There's no doubt about it. To your other point, OB, as far as the schedule, look, the Bears coming into the year, I forget if they were favored on opening night, but I think they were against the Packers at home. Favored against Denver, favored against at Washington, all winnable games, favored against Minnesota, favored against the Raiders. Then now the season starts to take place, but going in, then you had New Orleans at home. Okay, fine, tough game. But the Chargers at home, incredibly winnable.
New Orleans had their backup running back and backup quarterback.
3 of them.
They got killed at home by Atlanta today.
Right.
They're not invincible. I'm telling you. And again, yeah, they won today. Yes. But I'm telling you, there's something ill in the winds that are blowing out of Soldier Field.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dan.
It's crazy.
We won, and it's great that they won, and I know it's the 16 games, and you take every victory however you can get it. But, folks, I'm telling you, you're really going to see something that's coming. And with Nagy's game plan of trying to hide Trubisky, I mean... Yep. Trubisky had, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he had 8 of 8 completions for minus yards. That's next to impossible. That can't happen. And the other 6 attempts, he completed 3 for 6 yards. Folks, this is what's going on.
Kazi, hang on a second, Kazi.
Let's point out last thing, though. Okay. They had 21 yards before that final drive where they snapped off 80.
4 possessions, 21 yards. Folks, do the math. I mean, on your worst day against a good defense, that wouldn't be acceptable.
There's nothing you could say really outstanding that if something happened, if the running game was going, it kept going for 4 quarters. If the passing game was great and it was going for 4 quarters and we're putting people away, that's not what's happening. It's not.
We'll come back with Kaz. Take some of your calls here. 312-981-7200. Bears beat the Lions 20-13. The 4-game losing streak is over.
Hey,
yes.
Ladies better start bringing it back.
Amp screaming from the 30-yard line in here that Bartolini's better be bringing alcohol if we're going to make it through the rest of the season. Bartolini's Restaurant and Catering and Banquets, they do have alcohol. They're family-owned and they're operated, OB, and they get the best Italian food in Chicagoland, damn it.
Big man is on fire.
He's fired up today. You should not have let 99 into Soldier Field. Let him see this up close. Clearly, that has had an impact today. 144th at Pulaski in Midlothian. And let me also remind you, American Sale is known for having the largest selection of Christmas trees and decor. You can stroll through the Christmas forest and choose from hundreds of Christmas trees ready to take home. You'll find thousands of holiday decor items in their Christmas market. And right now, during the Home for the Holidays...
My wife is there shopping right now.
Is that right?
Yes.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
The lovely Mrs. Hampton.
Mrs. Hampton is enjoying the holiday sales event where you can save up to 60% and get 0% financing for 4 years. Get great deals on a new hot tub. Hampton would love that. Pool table, trampoline, and more. See store for details. American Sale for 60 years, helping you bring the fun home.
My wife has a water-cooled credit card. When she goes in there, that thing is smoking.
See, now there you go. There you go. That's fantastic.
How much they give you to make that statement?
I'm uncomfortable. Bears beat the Lions 20-13 on 720 WG.
Catch me. Cohen, does he have the angle? Yes! Touchdown, Bears!
He had the angle and he had the speed.
Tariq Cohen to the end zone. That was a nice play design by Matt Nagy, and perhaps not the best defense we've ever seen from the Detroit Lions. Touchdown, Chicago Bears, as they beat the Detroit Lions 20-13. As we bring back in Kaz, Hampo B, and Kaz, do you give that play right there, Kazi? That was not bad right there by Matt Nagy and company.
No, but remember, look, the Lions play man-to-man defense. So you're going to be able to pick down, and take out the backer that's covering the back out of the backfield. It's, but I see every team do that. And, the Lions, there's a reason they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. And it's because their defense isn't good. And their offense keeps them in games. And, they're losing close games at the end. But it's pretty easy for a quarterback to look good against that secondary of the Lions because they're man up most of the game. So, if you think about it, it should have been an unbelievable game for a quarterback today because of the defense that the Lions play. And really, they only like to rush 4. They don't like to blitz much. But when they do, they got to our quarterback because he didn't feel it, didn't see it, didn't read it, and didn't dump it off. So it's tough. And I will say this, that, when you brought up Akeem Hicks, you're right on him in the middle. He is a big loss, and the guys that have replaced him don't even come close to being him. But there was the second to last drive, Mack came around the edge, and he got held, which, every defensive lineman gets held. That's just a part of the way it is. But he took himself out on 3rd and 8, and I'm watching the kid, 99. I don't even know his name, Dan, but it's embarrassing that he's wearing that jersey right now. And he goes in for
Lynch,
Mack,
I believe.
and he misses a sack on the guy, and the guy flushes out and gets a 15-yard completion and continues to drive. This is when, and I guess my point is, this is the down that you need at Mack. 3rd down and 7, late in the game, and he took himself out. He waved in and ran off because he was tired. And this is a big issue with this entire defense. They all had their hands around their hips. The secondary, they were tired.
At the very end of the game, we took a timeout because our tongues were hanging out. And it's 40 degrees in November.
You guys aren't going to like this, but they're on the field way more this year. Now, today wasn't as bad, but Detroit did have...
That doesn't make any difference.
Matter. Hey.
Don't even go there, will you? Now you're going to get me hot.
Mark.
Let me tell you something here. And this
last week, it was
these are real numbers.
You're going to be on Drudge Report. You keep that kind
Let
of
me tell you something.
nonsense
With Akeem Hicks, excuse me, when he's in there, before he got hurt, he was out. They were getting yards per game. We were 290 yards we were giving up. Since he's been out, 356 yards. Rushing yards with Akeem Hicks in there, 61.5, folks. Since he hasn't been in there, they've been running for 125.5 yards per game, from 61 to 125. Defense dropped from 5th to 9th in total yards. Defense dropped from 3rd to 8th in rushing defense. They dropped from 4th to 15th in sacks per pass play. And they dropped from 3rd to 9th in 3rd down percentage with Khalil Mack in there.
Oh, yeah, nobody's arguing.
This is with Akeem Hicks out of there. You talk about it, I said it last year, that kid is so far above anybody we have on that defensive line, and I'll argue with anybody.
Hey, Kaz,
nobody wants to argue with you. The point of it is, with him out, they're much worse. But you still need your outside linebacker that you're paying a lot of money then to step up and start making plays and not take himself out on 3rd down and 7 with 5 minutes to go in the game. That's
in
all
Oakland,
I'm saying. I agree with you on Akeem Hicks.
Yeah.
There's no argument. Nobody would argue with you. I mean, the stats bear it out. It's straightforward.
When we played in Oakland, okay, at the end of the game, what did we give up, Dan? 97-yard drive?
Yes.
97. Do you have anybody? Is anybody of our listeners out there know where Khalil Mack was? He took himself out of the game. He was on the sideline in that 97-yard march that took us down the field. They scored and they beat us.
Kaz, say goodbye.
All right, see you guys next week, and we'll talk then.
All right.
Have a great week.
All right.
Take care, guys. Glenn.
Hey, Jeff Vukovich is back in our WGN huddle.
Book!
Right here, the straight shooter who knows insurance. He's on your side. He also probably knows how to snap the football better than Cody Whitehair. He'd love to help you. Nationwide is on your side. Check out jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Yes, we'll get to the calls. OB coming up here after the 4 o'clock news. 312-981-7200. We haven't really touched on the offensive line a whole lot on the move with Daniels.
But
we will. We will do that as well. And
the offensive line is really in trouble, guys.
They're offensive.
I'm telling you. We are playing against a team that's the 31st worst defense in this league, and they get 5 sacks on us.
I'd also like to salute the Knicks in the next hour. I thought Kwiatkowski and Nick Williams both played a pretty damn good game, so give them a little props. We'll do that coming up here, 720 WG. And OB is reflecting upon his time killing Y.A. Tittle, and I got to tell you, that was a strong commercial break. Check the news right now.
You know, in 2016, we were in the midst of one of the most violent years we had seen in decades. And he was one of the first police chiefs from around the country to reach out to me to offer any advice, any knowledge, any resources.
Those statements from Johnson's first Chicago interview after his retirement announcement. He was a guest on today's Pete McMurray show here on WGN Radio. Beck toured the 7th Police District with Johnson and Mayor Lori Lightfoot yesterday. Beck is known for bringing the Los Angeles Police Department through a consent decree process. Chicago police are investigating a shooting in South Lawndale that wounded 3 people. It happened just before 1 this afternoon in the 2100 block of South Albany. Police say the 2 men were sitting inside a vehicle when someone in a small black SUV opened fire. One of the men was struck in the head and is in critical condition. The other was hit multiple times in the back. A woman who was standing inside a business was shot in the arm. No one is in custody. Today began pouring concrete. Iran began pouring concrete for a second nuclear reactor at a key nuclear power plant about 440 miles south of Tehran. ABC's Julia McFarlane has more.
Iran's deal with Russia for a nuclear power project at the Bushehr plant goes all the way back to the early 90s. But plans were put on hold when Iran entered into the nuclear deal with the US and Western powers in 2015. Since the US pulled out of the deal last year and Europeans have been unable to help Iran sell its oil elsewhere, Iranians have been reneging on certain commitments in the deal, blaming the other parties for not keeping their end of the bargain. The Bushehr power plant will add 1,000 megawatts to Iran's power grid. The plant is supplied with Russian uranium via a subsidiary of the state-owned nuclear corporation Rosatom. Julia McFarlane, ABC News at the Foreign Desk in London.
And back here at home, Illinois is getting some government money to research pesticides. WGN's Don Kleppen reports.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is giving Legal Aid Chicago $30,000. The EPA says the money is to help the group survey state corn workers and fruit harvesters on their knowledge of pesticide use. The goal is to improve farm worker health. The State Department of Agriculture says it's gotten 10 times more complaints this year than average, alleging misuse of pesticides. Don Kleppen, WGN News.
Stay tuned. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next on WGN. Sports. The Bears beat Detroit's 22-13. Hampton will be with Kaz. Continue our post game up next on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. The Blackhawks host Toronto tonight. The pregame with Chris Bowden coming up at 5:30. The faceoff at 6 o'clock with John Weideman and Troy Murray on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. WGN traffic. Here are your travel times. The Eden's looking good in both directions. The inbound Kennedy is stop and go from Montrose Avenue, 43 minutes in from O'Hare, 32 outbound. On the inbound Ike, the trip in from Route 390 is 34 minutes, 34 outbound as well. Still tight from Laramie to Ridgeland. The inbound Stevenson is 35 minutes in from I-355 and 55 minutes outbound stop and go from King Drive to Cicero Avenue. The inbound Dan Ryan slows at Cermak, 20 minutes from 95th to downtown and then 19 minutes on the outbound trip. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. Now the weather from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. Cloudy skies, dropping temperatures for the rest of the afternoon. A chance of rain before 8 p.m. Tonight we drop to a low around 26 degrees. Tomorrow we've got snow in the forecast. 1 to 3 inches are expected, with up to 6 inches expected in the west and northwest suburbs, and temperatures dropping to around 22 degrees by evening. We've got a winter weather advisory in effect from 2 a.m. until 2 p.m. tomorrow for Grundy, Kendall, and LaSalle counties, and also a winter weather advisory in effect from 12 a.m., so midnight, till 2 p.m. tomorrow for Cook, DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties. Right now, it's 40 degrees at O'Hare, 42 at Midway, 42 in Oak Lawn, and 40 degrees at Chicago's Lakefront. I'm Pam Jones on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
If you don't raise the bar, nobody's going to try to give you anything extra. You got to demand it.
Back to the Chevy Hampton OV Show with Cars, sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Right now on WGN Radio.
Bears beat the Lions 20-13, 720 WGN. Hampton will be with Cars till 5:30 today. Blackhawks hockey coming up. So we're clipped by a half an hour, and we are celebrating.
You know, if I go to the Blackhawks game and they try to punt,
yeah,
one time, just once, that's it.
Yeah, they won't.
18 punts in 2 weeks.
Is it? It's only right. That's not that, Benny, is it, Hampo? Hey, by the way, a couple before we get to the calls here, two things from the Tribune. Number one, thanks to Phil Rosenthal, who wrote up the show after last week's performance. And that's the first time I've seen nincompoops in a headline. So congratulations to you, OB.
He's a wordsmith.
that right there is that Illinois education. Congrats to the Illini, by the way, coming back yesterday against Michigan State. People are texting in, one in particular. Tell OB to stop yelling. He's scaring my dog. Would you like to apologize to this man or woman's dog, OB?
No, I love dogs. I don't have to apologize to the dog. What, the first time the dog never heard anybody hollering before?
Right. I mean, come on. What kind of dog is this?
And we're not done yet. Let him out.
And one other thing from the trip today, they did the 100 greatest moments in Bears history. We got down to numbers 10 through 1. Number 1, the fitting end of the most dominant season in Chicago sports history, Super Bowl 20, 46-10. 6 players scored points, 7 others recorded a sack or a takeaway. Dan Hampton was incredible. That's in here, so that's number 1. And then number 2, the Bears had 5 All-Pros on a defense that allowed fewer than 10 points per game during the 63 season. Bill George, Joe Ferdinando, Doug Atkins, Richie Pettibone, Roosevelt Taylor, and a guy by the name of OB who was quoted in here, and I can't even read the quote because that would not be allowed on the radio. But you said they were men. Their word was their bond. They went on the football field and they knocked the hell out of people. And I'm so thankful I had the opportunity to play with them. So
congratulations.
That is the truth. And that's what this team has to get.
No kidding.
You know, I remember, was it 2 weeks ago? I think, somebody caught a pass or interception or did something, and it was on about the 2-yard line or whatever, and then all of a sudden, about half the defense or whatever it was ran down there, and they all started doing a dance. We didn't score a touchdown, but they're running down there doing a dance. You don't do that. You just don't do that.
No.
And the problem to be a world champion, I mean, you've got to give of yourself. Every play, every second you're out there. And I keep telling you, it's from game, there's only 16 of them. And my God, you got forever and after when the season's over to get well, to get happy, to get ready to come back and play and win a world championship. And if you can't figure that out, then get the hell out of the game. And if you got an ownership that can't figure it out, sell your team. And if you got management that can't figure it out, get out of this town. And by the way, Nagy, you better start letting this team go and start playing big football. Or otherwise, buddy, you keep walking east until you're, what is that thing he wears?
Visor.
His visor floats.
I think that says it all. Let's get to the callers.
It's the first time we've had the visor float on the show.
Yeah.
That could be the next.
The arena visor.
The arena visor. There we go.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you something. That's the mindset you got to have. My God, there's 16 games. You can't do this. You can't. You got to be involved every second, every minute of the play. Don't make mistakes.
What did you say to Dan before? It was about in the third quarter as we were watching the game today. You wanted to have an argument about whose defense was better, 63-85?
Well, there's no question about whose defense was better. Let me say this. I asked Dan, how many points a game did you guys give up? And what did you say, Mr. Hampton?
I think 12 a game or something like that.
Ask me that question.
How many points did your defense give up, Mr. Bradovich?
Under 10, I believe it was around 9.7, something like that, Dan. So, any other questions you'd like to ask me about the defense?
Tip of the visor to you. All right, let's go to the call.
312-981-7200. Cheryl, you are first up. Hampton will be with Kaz on 720 WGN. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, I agree with that text. Ed's got to take a chill pill. But what I was going to say is, if you guys remember 1985, Jim McMahon was not the most consistent of quarterbacks. And as you just talked about the importance of defense, where is this defense? Do not have, what do they have today? 1 sack? Sure. 2 sacks on this inferior quarterback? That's inexcusable. And yes, Akeem Hicks is out, but if they don't have people that can step up, that's a pretty sad comment, because defense wins championships. Period.
Good stuff, Cheryl.
That was my comment.
Thank you very much for the call. You got it.
Cheryl, you're the caller. Great call.
That was
it really is.
It was a fantastic call. And Cheryl, for your contribution to the show, because OB loves it as well, we're going to give you a gift card to Bartolini's Restaurant Catering and Banquets, 144th and Pulaski, home of the Bartolini 10-pound meatball sandwich. And OB,
it's worth it. It's a great place.
You crushed some food today.
All right, and you know what? Her point is so dead on, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we can beat the hell out of Trubisky and how pathetic the offense and the play calling and how scared they play the game. But where's this defense, huh? Let me ask you this. How many times have I outlined the back-breaking drives that the Raiders, the Denver, all these teams put on us out of nowhere, and we couldn't stop them. Go back to the playoff game last year, okay? A 12-play, 60-yard drive. The Eagles went right down the field and scored a touchdown on us to win the game. And we're supposed to be the badass defense of all time? Go out there and watch what happened today. Guys, they gave up 350-something yards to a nobody team. A nobody. Nobody running back, nobody receivers, nobody quarterback. I'm just saying. You know, Chuck Pagano, we're looking at you, buddy. Yeah, you. And hey, you got big shoes to fill with Vic Fangio being gone. We got it. Now that's all done with. It's time that you get it together. And what do I see? I see a very uninspired defense that's out of shape, missing tackles, and they don't look like they could stop a you-know-what going down the field.
I tell you, that is a shame. What's going on with some of our frontline guys, taking themselves out of the game and, sitting on the sidelines, whatever have you. My God, when I played, you never did that. You never did that. You never gave up. You never gave in. Even if you were sucking up all the air in Soldier Field, it didn't matter. You stay out there and get it done.
You're damn right. And here's the other thing. The two most physical guys we had on defense, Akeem Hicks and Danny Trevathan, out. The rest of you, don't be a bunch of stew bums. Show up, stay low, get after people. You haven't done it all year.
Trevathan, for the record, left Soldier Field in a sling. He had his arm, got caught under on a tackle. It looks like that elbow is going to be a situation. He's one of the toughest guys going. But
I'm going to tell you what. Here's the thing. Again, the points that we made last year, talking about this year. What happened last year, the bounce of the ball, the tip of the ball. I mean, things happen that don't happen. It happened game after game after game. And that's what we got the 12 wins with. You don't know. You come back the next year. You think that's going to happen? Everybody's going to walk on water. Everything's going to be fine. It's not. That's why when you have the chance to take it, you're at home, you're in the playoffs. There is no tomorrow. There is nothing but victory in front of you, and you let it slip by. And what's happening this year? We're really not getting the bounce of the ball. Where it's not fumbling, dumbling around, where our guys are running by, grabbing it in full stride, and running 60 yards for a touchdown. Not happening.
The defense has turned into a rumor.
I'll tell you this. Nick Kwiatkowski off the bench today, I thought he played a great game.
Did.
Yes, he did.
Hey, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Think about that. I mean, we're going to get to the defensive player of the game, and we'll tip our hand. Everybody played like Nick Kwiatkowski, and he did on special teams. He ran down and knocked the hell out of some guys on special teams. The rest of these guys better be slapped around and woke up because, Leonard Floyd and the rest of them strutting around like they've done something. They've done nothing.
It's time to grade the Bears secondary. How was the coverage today, Hampo? Sponsored by PPG Paints. For the best coverage, Chicagoland Painters pick PPG.
C+. You know, you let a nobody quarterback throw for over 250 yards. We had one interception by the aforementioned Kwiatkowski. None of our defensive backs really got close to it, even though Kyle Fuller played a very physical game. Now, I don't know how that translate. He hasn't played the way he had a year ago, but Mukamara was steady. I give him a C+. Still, those two safeties, they're nothing like what they were. Well, Eddie Jackson a year ago and in the opener. Ha was pretty damn good in the opener. He's invisible since.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, you give the amount of yards that they ran. What they rush for? What? How many total yards that rushing they run
The
for?
Detroit Lions.
52. No, excuse me, 75.
75, and they passed net for a total of 259 yards with a quarterback who, I don't know, was sipping tea about a week ago.
I'm sorry, it's 98. 3.6. And again, folks.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
OB. If you had any of these bumps on your fantasy team, you're hitting yourself in the face with a broom. You're like, what am I doing? And then all of a sudden they come out here against our so-called rumor defense and light it up. This is crazy, people. Crazy.
357 total yards, 259 through the air, 98 on the ground is correct tempo. All right. Quick timeout. Come on back with your calls, 20-13. Adam Hogue will join us from Soldier Field coming up after 4:30. The Bears get a win.
And here's the thing. The touchdown pass to Braunecker, it's about time. We've got 7 tight ends on this team, OB. And last week was the first time in 235 games that have been coached by Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, and Matt Nagy in the NFL. 235 games where a tight end did not catch a ball. Our tight ends, zippo last week.
I got it going today, though. Benny Braunecker in the end zone. Bears win 20-13 on 720 WG.
The drive alive. Are looking for it all. Touchdown! Taylor Gabriel. Trubisky with a strike.
One of 3 touchdown passes on the day for the rejuvenated Mitchell Trubisky. What's that?
Yeah, you know, and I want to be the first to congratulate him. We want all of you folks out there to turn off your TVs and turn your radio on WGN, because all the good news comes over the radio, not television. And we know that poor Mr. Trubisky was tormented by some of the commentary throughout the early parts of this season. And you know what? It made the Drudge Report that he was worried about the TVs and the negativity. Can you believe this? The franchise of Bronco Nagurski, Dick Butkus, Edo Bradovich, Mike
Dan Hampton.
The quarterback is worried about hearing something negative on the radio. I'm sorry.
Some people thought he was kidding. Some people didn't think he was kidding.
You don't say that. Remember the old commercial? You can't let him see your sweat or whatever. Yeah. Well, guess what? You mentioned it. Obviously, something's triggered it. Wow.
Do you remember when Ditka would get triggered with Johnny Morris?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was priceless.
It really was.
Yeah. But I don't think I ever saw Ditka wear hand warmers at any time.
Let's do Who Brought It Today, which is sponsored. You definitely did not. Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to bring through it all. Who brought it today, Hamp?
Guys, you know, at some point, I'm going to give it to Allen Robinson. He was able to break the game open on some big catches. He went and got the ball. You know, you could throw a bouquet at Trubisky. Nick Kwiatkowski, obviously, after Trevathan got hurt, he came in, responded. We're going to give him a little love here in a little bit. But at the end of the day, Allen Robinson, and think about how good this guy could be with a real quarterback. Think about that. With a Stafford or name one.
Played with Bortles in Jacksonville, now playing with Trubisky in Chicago, and he still had 6 catches today, 86 yards.
This poor guy's going to be like living on Lower Wacker one day.
Well,
those 2 quarterbacks.
He has lived on Lower Wacker as far as the quarterbacks. He did get his paper coming over here, but so we don't need to feel sorry for him that way. But Allen Robinson, it's a great call. Played a great game.
Well,
today.
You know what? We do have some quality receivers. Finally, I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Great.
Yeah, we do. We've got some pretty damn good receivers.
They're okay.
Yes, we do.
But I'll tell you what, going back here, year after year after year, the receivers we had, my God. But I'll tell you what, when you see what's going on with the game calling, the planning of Nagy with his position coaches, his quality control, and you just sit there and look at this game, folks, and what is this guy doing? You know, you got to score points in this game to win, and we try not to score points. We can't even eat up the clock.
You know, most offensive coordinators say, who can stop me? Nagy stops us, our own coach.
Hey, Matt on the north side, real quick, go ahead. You've been waiting for a long time. I want to get you in here. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for keeping it real, Dan. This was like a sweater from your grandma on Christmas. This win has no value. Yeah, but I'm wondering about that play where Nagy didn't take the penalty and let them kick a field goal in the second quarter. He doesn't trust the defense. I mean, you guys have the defense is the Bears' legacy, and he didn't take a penalty and he kicked 3 points on us.
Good, great call, Matt. Hang on, let's respond.
And that was right at the end of the half, and I remember I was up in the press box before heading back over here, and everybody in the press box looked at me and I said, this is, and I wrote this down 3 weeks ago, and actually it was pertaining to our quarterback. But what I'm saying here is, don't believe what this head coach says on Monday or Friday. Believe what he does on Sunday. You understand, OB? So what this guy's going to say, and oh yeah, we believe this in our defense, and we believe in it. Watch what he does on Sunday. That's why he did not take the penalty and give them one more shot at us, because he was scared that our defense would not be able to stop them, and they would eventuate and have a couple of shots at the end zone. So he thought, okay, I'll decline the penalty and make them kick a 53-yarder. Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay, I was talking to be a 53-yarder, but it was downwind. I was standing there, the wind out of the northwest. That guy, I mean, that Prater, he's a hell of a kicker. And you know what? They hung it right on his you know what.
Let me tell you something here. Nagy, what you're going to see now, folks, mark my words, coming up from week to week to week here, coming down the road. Watch and see Nagy, watch his play calling, and you people tell us, because I'll tell you what, I think disaster is coming our way big time.
All right, quick time out here. We'll get to news, and then we'll get to Adam Hogout at Soldier Field. We'll get to you as well. Hampton OB till 5:30. Bears win to beat the Lions.
We only got an hour more to scream?
You got one strong hour, 20-13 over the Lions, 720 WG.
Detroit 20-13, Hampton OB with Kaz. Continue our post-game coverage next on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. The Blackhawks are hosting Toronto tonight. The pregame with Chris Bowden at 5:30, then the face-off at 6 o'clock with John Weideman and Troy Murray on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. WGN traffic. The Edens looks good in both directions. The inbound Kennedy stop and go from Montrose, 43 minutes in from O'Hare, 32 outbound. On the inbound Ike, the trip in from Route 390, 34 minutes, 34 outbound as well. Inbound Stevenson, 35 minutes in from I-355, 55 minutes outbound, though, with stop and go from King Drive to Cicero Avenue. The inbound Dan Ryan slows at Cermak, 20 minutes from 95th to downtown and 19 outbound. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app, approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. Now the weather from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. A winter weather advisory is in effect starting at midnight for Cook, DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties. That runs until 2 p.m. tomorrow. Accumulating snow could lead to hazardous driving conditions. Boone, Ogle, Lee, and DeKalb counties could see as many as 3 to 6 inches of snow. Over in Indiana, Portage, Valparaiso, Chesterton, and Rensselaer could see 3 to 7 inches. Tonight, we have a chance for rain before 8 p.m., dropping down to a low around 26 degrees. Then tomorrow, Veterans Day, we've got snow in the forecast. Again, in our area, probably 1 to 3 inches are expected. Could get up to 6 inches in some areas, with temperatures dropping to around 22 by evening. Right now, it is 40 degrees at O'Hare, 42 at Midway, 41 in Flossmoor, and 40 degrees at Chicago's Lakefront. I'm Pam Jones on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
There's a lot of reasons to say today was a win, but my gosh, if it was, one of those hand grenade things, the closest, how do you not put away one of the most miserable football teams on the planet Earth with a backup, nobody quarterback, and let them go down the field time and time and time again and have a chance to beat you, or at least tie you, and go for two and beat you at the end of a game. I'm telling you, folks, there's something really sad, sick about this team.
That was the Danimal earlier today. Bears beat the Lions 20-13. Hampo, does that mean that if you were on this team, you wouldn't have participated in Club Dub?
No, not a chance. Remember, I didn't do the shuffle either. A lot of people thought that was clever.
Do you regret?
I don't think the Club Dub thing is clever.
Do you regret not doing the shuffle?
No. But I mean, but here's the thing. You know, this team has got to overcome some pre-existing conditions. First and foremost, the quarterback. Second is the head coach. But now, unfortunately, the defense has started showing ugly signs of not only being somewhat average, but like I said, there's no excuse for not being in shape. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Run their butts into the God blessed ground. Get them in shape. It's 40 degrees, and they're tired, and they're taking themselves out of the game. Khalil Mack.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know why they, you know, if they're tired, then when they score a touchdown or when they get close or a defense makes a stop, these guys run up and run 10, 15 yards so everybody could see them, and they start shucking and jiving and all this stuff. And when it counts on 3rd and 1 and you can't stop them, why don't you jump up and shuck and jive then? No, don't you?
312-981-7200. Let's get to the callers. We got Adam Hogue.
Oh, yeah, we got to get Adam.
Let's get Adam out at Soldier Field. What's going on, Adam Hogue?
Hey, guys. I guess it doesn't necessarily feel like a win, but it is a win. 42 days since they last won a football game.
And Adam, I was on the sideline early in the game, and I was astonished that nobody was getting everybody cranked and in the mood. You know, folks, I mean, this isn't like, you know, going out and shooting baskets or hoop. You've got to kind of like work yourself up into a frenzy to ram into somebody 80 times in the course of a 3-hour game. And I saw a bunch of guys standing around, like looking up in the stands, like it was a practice. When is this team going to ever kind of respond and show they care and they're ready to go? Can you tell me, Adam?
Well, I think it's a fair point that these guys were incredibly flat early, and I can't explain it. I mean, the penalties piling up again, the injuries piling up again,
How about the 3 and outs? I mean, we all we got to do is get a couple of first downs in the fourth quarter off any one of the 5 drives. We can't do it. We had 4 3 and outs out of the final 5 drives in this football game when we're trying to basically throw the clock in the closet and call it good. We can't even get a first down.
Yeah, they were at 29 yards of offense going into their first touchdown drive late in the second quarter, which I would argue 29 yards against the Lions is actually worse than 9 yards against the Eagles in the first half last week.
That's a good point.
Because this Lions defense is not good. At least the Eagles have a good defense, or at least a decent defense. So, hey, look, I'll give Nagy credit for one thing. It might have been considered crazy, but I think he recognized, Hamp, what you're talking about. There was absolutely no fire on the sideline. There was no energy. And he decided to go for it on 4th and 1 from his own 29, which, maybe was crazy, and it certainly would have looked crazy if they didn't get it. But I think it's the thing that sparked them offensively. They get that play, and they go down the field, and they score a touchdown. They score 2 more in the third quarter, and it might have been ugly again after that, but at least they finally found a way to broke through against this Lions defense. And Mitch was definitely not perfect today, but he did make some incredible downfield throws on those 3 touchdown drives.
And so I'm looking at your tweet here, Adam, about Nagy. He said, quote, we needed a spark. I think it sends a message to our players that, listen, here you go. It's 4th down. We're backed up, and it's time for us to be in control of this. I mean, OB and I were sitting here, and I'm like, this is crazy. You're completely losing yourself, and you're panicking. But I actually like it on further review that he's just assessing his team and what they needed and wanted to give them a little adrenaline boost.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you try as hard as you can to first guess and not second guess. And the reality is, if he doesn't get it, it certainly looks like you're panicking, that you're just desperate. But you know what? Sometimes you are desperate. And I'd argue that in that moment, he's as desperate as any coach in the league well, maybe there are some exceptions in the NFL, like a Pat Shurmur right now in New York, but up there as one of the more desperate coaches in the league with an offense that can't do anything. They're just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And so right there, he is desperate. And he says, look, we're 4th and 1. And he does what we've been saying and we've been pounding the table for, just run the football. And they did it, and they got it, and it sparked a touchdown drive. So at least there, I think he deserves some credit.
Yeah, what? Here's the problem. We had the ball 12 different times in the game, okay? And of which we punted 9 of them. So only the 3 times did we actually convert on a third down, and we actually put some points on the board. The week prior, guess what? 11 plays, 9 punts again. Guys, this is not, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to be a world champion by putting stuff like this up from week to week. And you think all these teams, we're not going to be playing Detroit Lions, the 31st worst defense in the league, from game after game here on out. I'll tell you what, the next 7 games, it's going to be pretty tough for us, and you better convert on third down, and you better move the ball down the field. This punt, it's, what are you paying the head coach for? What are you giving this guy money? To do what? To set up punts? I don't know what you're doing. We can't convert on third down, and we can't score points. All we do is punt. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah, OB, it's a fair point. Look, this Lions defense is awful. And I think you can also make an argument that if Matt Stafford's out there in the fourth quarter, maybe the end of the game is different, because there was certainly some throws that Jeff Driscoll, as well as I thought he played today as a backup, he definitely left some plays out there that I think Stafford probably converts on. So this definitely could have been a different game. There's no question about it. This is not an offense at all capable of winning a Super Bowl, or let alone a playoff game, and that's why they're at 4-5. That's why they are a 4-5 team, and that's just the reality of the situation. Now, all you got to hope for is that there's 7 games left, and they can find something out of this. And I think there are small things that you can hopefully build off of. Mitch's confidence maybe being one of those, where at least now you're in a winning week. But you absolutely have to find a way to win on the road next week against the LA Rams, which is not going to be easy, and not going to have the second to last ranked defense in all football.
Danny Trevathan leaves with his arm in a sling. Adam, what do you know about the Bears linebacker, who clearly they need?
Well, I'm definitely not a doctor, but I do know that when your arm bends that direction, and it's not supposed to, most of the time your season is in jeopardy. At a minimum, he's going to be facing it's a similar injury to Akeem Hicks, the dislocated elbow. The question is there a bone fracture? So Akeem Hicks was able to avoid surgery, and let's not forget, he technically could come back by the Packer game if the Bears are still in the mix. Now for Danny Trevathan, this is happening 4 or 5 weeks later, so I would have to imagine his season is in serious jeopardy. And that is a big blow, because Danny Trevathan is a guy who's been playing well for most of the season, a couple plays here and there as exceptions, but he's really been a good player. I think the good news is, if there was one spot where you could swallow a loss like that, it is potentially at that spot, because as we've seen a couple times, Nick Kwiatkowski is a borderline starter who can come in and make plays for you. And look, he's got an opportunity now with 7 games left to earn a lot of money, whether it's with the Bears and taking over this job in the future, because Danny Trevathan could be gone next year, or getting paid by another team. He's got a lot to play for here. So I don't think it's the end of the world, but it is a big blow if Danny's out for the rest of the season.
All right. At one point late in the game, Dan Fauci is a good guy. I know him well. And he has a couple of little nuggets if you listen close. And one of the things he said is, Trubisky, Snowflake Ski, was struggling because he had lost confidence. And he said lack of confidence leads to indecision, which leads to bad decisions. Now, here we go. We start out the game with a 3 and out, punted 5 times. Finally, we get a touchdown. Okay, now we come back, we get the ball, we go right down the field. We score another one. He threw a couple of really good passes, one to Allen Robinson where he basically said, go get it, and he did. And we scored. Now, late in the game, the last 2 drives, Detroit was playing a 9-man front, basically daring us to throw the ball. Now, if Hotshot supposedly found some confidence and made a couple of good throws, and we had a 3 touchdown pass performance right there in around the halftime, why wasn't Nagy throwing the ball to back Detroit off and at least give us a chance to get a first down and run the clock out? Why was he refusing to even dare to let the kid throw? If he's supposedly, now we're much better and our quarterback's got his confidence back, why didn't he do it?
Could I just jump in there and give you some kind of an answer? Maybe he doesn't know. I'm talking about Nagy, and I'm dead serious when I say this. Maybe he doesn't know.
Doesn't know
what the hell to do.
Oh.
Well, then he shouldn't be the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Precisely.
I don't think he trusts him. But what do you think, Adam?
Yeah. Well, I would go back to the interception and fumble he had against the Chargers. I think
so. We're protecting a very suspect player, and almost putting the entire team and the franchise at risk on a game-to-game basis because we don't trust this kid outside of our how far we could throw it.
You're spot on, Dan. Spot on.
That's what I got up here earlier on, and I said this team is sick. The defense is invisible. It's a rumor. The offense, we used to say we get off the bus running. Now what? They get off their Vespas texting. What are we doing? We don't do anything.
Well, there was 1 3rd and 1. It was about 8 minutes left in the game where they ran play action. In a situation, a lot of people probably would say they should run the ball. And Trubisky actually did a nice job to scramble out of pressure. He was pressured right away, but I thought he had an opportunity to float the ball over a couple defenders after scrambling and get the ball to David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. Now, that would be the type of play I would compare more to like a Patrick Mahomes or a Brett Favre, and the way they're always able to, ad lib and change it, just do crazy things on the run when plays break down. And the reality is, Mitch doesn't really do that unless it's just scrambling. And so he committed to running the football there, and he ended up getting sacked and losing 2 yards. So, that was a spot where they did actually try to throw the ball, and it didn't work out. And I think maybe that explains why the rest of the game, Nagy really just tried to run the football from there.
Adam, on your way out, just real quick, your assessment of Cody Whitehair and James Daniel making the switch from center to guard.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people understand that I think this has the biggest reason why that change was made was the protections at the line of scrimmage, the communication at the line of scrimmage, and helping the quarterback. The chemistry with James Daniels and Mitchell Trubisky was not there in that regard. Now, the risk was obviously Cody Whitehair has had snap problems, and that has been well documented, and it was part of the reason why they moved him to guard in the offseason and put James Daniels there. But I think they looked at this thing, and they had a whole half season to evaluate, and they said, our best chance to save this quarterback is to make sure we're doing everything possible to help him. And I think that's why they put Cody Whitehair there, even though, as you saw today, the snaps were an issue. And I heard at some point, somebody was tweeting somewhere that someone said during the game that on Friday in practice, Cody Whitehair was struggling with his snaps. It's just something they're going to have to figure out, because I do think right now, at this point, the reality is he needs Cody Whitehair there at center, not James Daniels.
Well, hey, Adam, let me say this, and to our listeners. We're worried in the 9th game. They make a switch. They flip-flop the guard in the center. Okay? They're worried about it now to see if that'll straighten the problem out, whatever the problem they think is. Shouldn't that have been done in the exhibition season? Shouldn't that have been done instead of the players, our frontliners, stand there and shucking and jiving for 4 games, looking up to the stands, waving, laughing? Shouldn't that have been found out in one of the 4 exhibition games? Not now, in the 9th game of the season? My God, how dumb is dumb? And I'm dead serious when I say that. They got to play Timing is of essence. It's everything in the game of football. Passing, run blocking. It's all about winning. And now, again, we go into the back half of the season and they make the switch. And guess what? It didn't work, folks. It did not work when you had a chance. And again, I'll say it for the last time. Damn it, you had a chance to straighten all of this stuff out in the exhibition season. We're not in the shuck and jive business. We're in the world of professional football.
Hey, Adam, where was Adam Shaheen today?
Oh, he was healthy and on the sideline and not playing football because I think they realize he's not very good at football. And so I guess I'll give him this. They're not sitting on their hands. Whether they made mistakes in the offseason or with their draft picks or whatever, they are not afraid to make changes here in the middle of the season. They switched the offensive lineup. They've made 2 changes on the offensive line now here in the middle of the season. They benched Adam Shaheen today, who was clearly awful last week in Philadelphia. And, I have my doubts about Ben Braunecker solving the tight end situation, but today he made a nice catch on an 18-yard touchdown throw. So it worked today.
Adam, real quickly, we have 7 tight ends. When is the last time you ever heard of a team in the National Football League having 7 active tight ends?
We're going to throw one to each of them before the end of the year, OB. Adam, great stuff.
Hey, you guys know the saying, if you have 7 tight ends, you really have none. Everybody has been saying that for years.
That is the truth. Adam, great stuff. We'll read you at WGNradio.com. 7 for none.
Bye, guys. Talk to you next week.
See you later. Adam Hogot at Soldier Field. Quick timeout, 720 WGN. The Midwestern University Multi-Specialty Clinic in Downers Grove offers a comprehensive patient-centered healthcare experience at their Dental Institute, Family Medicine Clinic, Speech Language Institute, Physical Therapy Institute, and their Eye Institute. At their clinics, you'll receive exceptional care from a team of highly qualified faculty and students. You can learn more at MWUclinics.com or call 630-743-4500. That's 630-743-4500. The Midwestern University Clinic, your family's home for healthcare.
It's good to be back up here and finally get a win. You know, it was a long 4 weeks for us, but I'm proud of our players and our coaches for sticking together until the end of the game there. We were completely tested and challenged, and these moments that you just have in that locker room that we just had together is what it's all about. That's why we do what we do, and it's not easy, but the NFL's hard. There's a lot of parity, and a credit to that team and Coach Patricia, and I'm just proud of our guys.
There is a relieved Matt Nagy after the football game today. Bears win 20-13. Club dub. Indeed open. Apparently Nagy had a good time in there, Hampo. By the way, I had to look up what a Vespa is as they get off the used to get off the bus running. Now they get off the Vespa texting. You should have said scooter. I would have understood it, but everybody else did. I got a zillion texts on Vespa and texting, Ham, just so you know.
You know what he said there.
You're bothered by Nagy.
Yeah. OB, think about this. Their starting running back and their franchise quarterback are out, and we hang on. I mean, we were scratching at the end.
With the 31st worst defense on top of it.
And they really had a great celebration. Well, good for them. Good for them.
There wouldn't be any celebration.
I'm just, see, that's it.
Be no celebration. I'd catch anybody celebrating it, I'd whack them over the head with the chair.
I'm just telling you, see, I'm just saying, they should have been, everybody ought to be embarrassed about what happened at Soldier Field today. They should be embarrassed. But they're not. Well, that's the problem.
Well, Matt Nagy, right there. The NFL is hard. It's hard to get a win. We got to win. We're going to celebrate it. It's been 4 weeks.
How does he know?
Think about this. We're playing the Redskins with, they're the worst team in football, and then the Raiders in London, and then, Denver, they didn't have a quarterback. And, we should, I'm telling you, we should be 7-2, but no, we've got a bunch of geniuses that want to reinvent the game and never practice, never commit. All right, let's go to the phones.
We got 2 minutes. So, Don, you've been waiting for 2 hours. Be quick here. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't care what anybody says. The players have given up on Nagy. Pace hires a coach, never successful in the NFL. His big test was Chiefs versus Titans playoff game. They're up 18 points. He abandons the run and they blow the game. And that's who we hire. He has no business coaching. He is at best a quarterback's coach, and I don't even know if he's a good quarterback's coach.
All right, Don, appreciate it. That's an interesting discussion that we can have coming after 5 o'clock.
He's a special teams coach in high school.
All the way to high school? We can't even put him in college?
That's about as high as you go. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You've been around sports here and you're doing that. Would you hire that guy as your head coach?
No, but you just put him all the way down to high school. I mean, I said maybe high school. Okay.
Pop Warner might be better. You watch and see what's going to happen here down the road. My word, this guy's not going to be around that long.
What'd you think of that call, Hamp?
We've documented that ad nauseum. Look, life is about performance and privilege. If you're great, that guy, he did it. He destroyed Kansas City's playoff chances and got them beat. He comes here and kills us in the playoffs. That's what we've told you for 2 years now.
Insurance companies use lizards, ostriches to make us laugh. What happened to having an honest, smart human being guide you? Check out jeffbook.com. Decades of experience nationwide is on your side. News and then a half hour left. Yes.
One thing, and remember, 2 weeks ago he was mocking. Hey, they didn't hire me to run the eye. Watch how much more effective this offense with Trubisky on the center and an offset eye has been. Hey, smart guy, look at the film.
720 WGN.
It's 39 degrees at 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Pam Jones. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson is looking back on his career after his retirement was announced last week. He says one of the things he wished he could finish was taking the city through the consent decree process.
I believe at the end of the day, that consent decree is going to make us a better department. So I wish I would have had time, but of course, that's going to be another 4 or 5 years out at the minimum before we get done with that.
Johnson was a guest with Pete McMurray today on 720 WGN. It was Johnson's first Chicago news interview since his retirement was announced. His interim replacement, Charlie Beck, is known for bringing the LAPD through a consent decree process. A storm system bringing some heavy snow with it could make for a dangerous commute tomorrow morning. WGN's Mike Hammernick explains.
The main storm system will arrive tonight, kind of a rain-snow mix evolving over to all snow rather quickly as the night wears on. Snow could be heavy in pockets in the morning, leading to a very messy commute. In fact, this could be a high-impact storm as far as the commute is concerned, as the heaviest snow is going to coincide with a Monday morning rush.
A winter weather advisory is in effect for Winnebago, Boone, Ogle, Lee, and DeKalb counties from 9 tonight until noon tomorrow. Areas of northeastern Illinois and northwestern Indiana, including the greater Chicago area, are under a winter weather advisory until 2 tomorrow afternoon. We're expecting 3 to 6 inches of snow. Some Texans are begging their governor to give a death row inmate a reprieve as new evidence has surfaced that could exonerate the inmate of murder. The execution of Rodney Reed is scheduled for later this month. Governor Greg Abbott, who has overseen the execution of nearly 50 prisoners, was met by Reed's supporters at the governor's mansion yesterday. Their calls continued today, with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee asking Abbott not to make an irretrievable mistake.
This governor can give a reprieve. And the faith community, I think, should be applauded for recognizing an important moment.
Reed was convicted in the 1996 rape and murder of 19-year-old Stacy Seitz. Reed says the two were having an affair and her fiancé, former police officer Jemmy Fennell, killed her. It's China's version of Cyber Monday, and the numbers are staggering. ABC's Yuni Han has the story.
In China, e-commerce giant Alibaba racking up $1.4 billion of sales in the first 90 seconds. That number ballooning to $7 billion by 12 minutes. Singles Day, considered the world's biggest online shopping sale, is expected to attract more than 500 million shoppers, buying anything from kiwis to vacation packages. The 24-hour event was started by students in the 1990s to celebrate people who didn't have romantic partners. Yuni Han, ABC News.
Sports, traffic, and weather up next on WGN. WGN Sports. The Bears beat Detroit 20-13. Hampton OB with Kaz continue our post game up next on WGN and WGNradio.com. The Blackhawks host Toronto tonight. The pregame with Chris Bowden at 5:30. The faceoff at 6 o'clock with John Weideman and Troy Murray right here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. WGN traffic. The Edens looks good in both directions. The inbound Kennedy is stop and go from Montrose. 43 minutes in from O'Hare, 32 outbound. On the inbound Ike, the trip in from Route 390 is 34 minutes, 46 outbound. The inbound Stevenson, 35 minutes in from I-355, 55 minutes outbound, tight from Lakeshore Drive all the way to the Tri-State, partly due to Bears traffic. The inbound Dan Ryan slows at Cermak, 20 minutes from 95th to downtown and 19 minutes on that outbound trip. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app, approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. And now the weather from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. Tonight we have a chance for rain before 8 p.m. We'll drop to a low around 26. Then tomorrow, Veterans Day, we've got snow in the forecast. Anywhere from 3 to 6 inches are expected, with temperatures dropping down to around 22 degrees by evening. Right now, it is 39 degrees at O'Hare, 40 at Midway, 39 in River Forest, and 40 at the lakefront. I'm Pam Jones on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
Man up about it. Hey, put the ether can down for a second.
It's the Chevy Hampton OV Show with Cause, and it's brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com on 720 WGN Radio.
Half hour to go. Hamp, OB, and Cause on 720 WGN. Bears beat the Lions 20-13. The Los Angeles Rams are up next. Just for your scheduling for next Sunday, we have a pregame show from 4 until 5:30, and then we'll be on with you after the game right around 10:30 on Sunday night after hopefully a stunning Bears victory.
So make sure you get to the package store early, because we come on at 4 and go till 5:30, and then make sure you're well stocked, because we don't come back on until the conclusion at 10:30 and go to midnight.
And our plan is to take the Bartolinis and all go over to OB's right down the street. So if you could just, OB, you down? You're going to have us all over?
Sure. Sure.
It'll be
just for the listeners to know. OB was texted the other day in a group text, and Mark Carmen says, "Hey, OB, I'm driving by your house." OB answered, "Don't stop."
OB also lives right by the lake, and I thought you definitely meant not stop on Lakeshore Drive, but continue going.
Stop.
Just keep going east, right into the old drink. Hey, the defensive
until the visor floats.
That's right. The defensive player of the game is sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDrivesChicago.com. Who do we got for our defensive?
This guy came in and like gangbusters, like a Silverado does on a snow-packed Chicago street. Nick Kwiatkowski. And let me tell you this. Danny Trevathan goes down, and Danny's one of my favorite players on the team. And now, guess what? Nick Kwiatkowski needs to become one of the leaders. This team, I'm telling you, I don't see leaders out there. They are crying for. Danny was the closest thing, him and Akeem. Now they're both out. So, at the end of the day, Kwiatkowski had 8 tackles. He had a sack, quarterback hit. The only thing was when he had the interception that really put us on a short field and gave us a great opportunity to get a little breathing room, the quarterback tackled him. You can't let a quarterback tackle.
That was unbelievable. He knocked him back, Jeff.
I know. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But Nick Kwiatkowski, player of the game in my mind.
OB, any argument?
No, not at all. I think the kid's, as soon as he got in there, he made plays. So he was ready to play. There's no question about that.
And he's done it twice now. He came in 3 weeks ago when Roquan was AWOL. We still don't know what happened. And by the way, if Nick Kwiatkowski was driving down Lake Shore Drive and stopped by your house, would you text him, stop or keep going? Would you tell him the same thing you told Mark Harmon? Don't stop.
Don't stop. Will you?
You can't make this up.
OB, will you say what you were saying about Nick Kwiatkowski in the conference room today? No, we won't go there. I thought it was a compliment for a football player.
No,
he just said he wasn't going to be on the cover of GQ anytime soon. That's
face only a mother. But you know what? We're damn lucky we have him. Now think about that. This defense, you got to have a pass rusher and you got to have a dynamic inside linebacker. You got a lot of big 300-pound guards coming at you. And guess what? When Danny goes down, Roquan, he's a edge guy. He's not really physical. This kid, he's doing it all.
Do we think Roquan was better today? He led the team in tackles.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
a little bit. But, there was one play, I think it was 3rd and 2, and he squared up on the back. And, normally you think your inside linebacker is a headhunter. He's going to knock the back backwards. It didn't happen. So, and again, this defense to me, I'm on the sidelines today watching, and snap of the ball, everybody stands up and plays titty bump. Hey, you've got to come off with purpose, and I don't see Mack doing it either. I'm telling you, this team looks like they've never practiced hard, and that's inexcusable for being into the 10th game of the season.
Well, the good thing about it is after all these losses in a row, we're playing at home and played, even though the Detroit Lions are a terrible football team. My God, thank God we came out with the win.
312-981-7200. As we're here to the bottom of the hour, let's get some calls in. John in Michigan City wants to talk about the play calling. Go ahead, John. You're on 720 WGN.
Oh, my God, it's me. I didn't think I was going to get on.
You're on, buddy.
I'm sorry. I just love you guys.
Don't be like the kicker and miss your chance.
No. I mean, and God bless you, OB, for losing your good friend, Doug, the phone. But what I wanted to say was, in that late in the third quarter, when they were on their own 40-yard line and they had 1 yard to go, and going back to what you said, Dan, that they threw a pass play because they all of a sudden decided they had a first-string quarterback, and they were just going to throw the ball down the field and get a first down. If they would have run that play and maybe got a field goal, they would have put the game away. But they just, I don't know, the play calling that Nagy does. And it just, it was so disappointing.
Yeah, we got you, John. It was not inspiring at all, although I guess we should give credit for the 3-touchdown end of the first half, start of the second half stanza that won them the football game.
And I wanted to say something about that. Now, everybody goes, wait a minute, why does everyone defer on the coin toss if you win? What we saw today is exactly the reason why. You want to score right before the half, and then you want the ball first off in the second half and go score. Now, I don't know, but if you do that, I think you have something like a 92% chance of winning the game. So Buddy Ryan would always talk about the most important 10 minutes of the game, the last 5 of the first half and the first 5 of the second half. Think about that. It's not the beginning and the end. It's right there at the turnaround of the half.
Sets the tone.
Okay.
Sets the tone.
That being said, even with this, we did every damn thing we could to give this game away. That's how, I'm telling you, there's something really sad about this team. They better figure it out and straighten it up. And you know what? Sooner or later, this kicker, he's going to come back and haunt us. And you know and I know, we wanted him to be great and not great, just efficient. We didn't ask you to kick 58-yarders, but we expect you to make extra points, and he couldn't even do that. Well, last week, 2 weeks ago against the Chargers, that's a field goal an NFL kicker has to make.
So you think about that. He did win the game against Denver, which is a field goal that many kickers don't make. So I guess you could say it's evened out. But if he hits the Chargers kick, they're 5-4. It's a different conversation right now.
It's a huge difference.
Right.
And if our defense stops anybody and we don't fall for the fake punt and rough the kicker, think about it. As bad as this team is, with a couple of more breaks, and OB, you're always talking about how lucky they are, and especially last year, but just think about this. If we were 6-4 or 6-3, how much differently we would look at this season. Right now, hey, we're 4-5.
Danny, I have an answer for you. The reason why we're not at those numbers is we don't score points. Bingo. We don't score points. When we get down into the red zone, we at best we hope for a field goal. We don't go into the end zone. We don't try to throw the ball in zone. We don't try to score touchdowns. That's my answer to you.
Let's make
and we always saying you're looking for a defensive coordinator that can stop an offense. Nagy, he's stopping our offense week after week.
Gary on the Northwest Side, welcome to WGN. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi guys. Just want to say that I contend that this game was rigged for the Bears to win. Quickly give you the facts. Number one, the opponent's starting quarterback was a late scratch. Two, there was a couple face mask penalties that were not called against the Bears.
That's true.
We saw that.
And three, next week the Bears are playing on primetime TV. Had they lost, what would the viewing audience between two teams going in opposite directions be? And finally, do you want to hear my prediction on next week's game?
Sure, Gary.
Rams 24, Bears 10.
All right. You got it.
Yeah, and I could see, hey, and you're exactly right, OB, you made a big deal about those face masks not being called. You know, and they're looking at little ticky-tack grab things.
Those two, and they were blatant, too, by the way. I mean, they went all the way wrapped around, and they took both at their time, pulled them all the way around in their face as it came all around towards the back of their neck. I don't understand how, 6, 7 refs, whatever is out there, how they could have not caught that. And both of them happened pretty quick. Okay. I mean, one after the other. And guess what? That gave the Bears a drive momentum.
Hey, and I'm just telling you, folks, hey, sooner or later, it all comes back around. So we can't count on these breaks all the time.
Right.
Make Sundays your official night to tour the city, watch Chicago's best at 10 p.m. Then you can stick around for the latest in shopping, entertainment, and events on See Chicago at 10:30 p.m. on WGN TV. Chance for a couple more calls, and there's a couple of things we have not gotten to yet before we get on out of here. We'll also take a look at the Rams coming up next. They're playing right now. Packers are in action. We'll update that. A lot to do.
I wish I would have grown up in this era where you fail miserably and everybody gives you a fist pump.
The best Bears coverage. The Chevy Hampton OB Show with Cause right now. Sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com on 720 WGN Radio.
Bears 20, Lions 13. Again, a reminder, 4 to 5:30 pregame next week, and then after the game, we're on Bears and the Rams Sunday night football. Yes, Ham.
A double shot of OB.
A double shot of
and post.
There it is.
By the way, Dan Orlovsky, he was a nothing quarterback in the league. He played for a while. He's a commentator. He came out this week and said that Matt Nagy, something's going on that's really fishy. He's running an offense for Trubisky where Trubisky doesn't fit the offense. And we all know that. He's not a pocket passer. It's like they're trying to stick a size 10 on a size 15. But at the end of the day, the offense is completely different from a year ago. And remember, we go back to Nagy, he says, people make adjustments, so you have to be proactive and make adjustments before they make adjustments because they know what you thought and what you did, and they see that it's all a bunch of gobbledygook. Run the football and then run play action. If he would just do those two things, a lot of this would evaporate.
Well, they went back last week and watched film of the Lions game last year when Trubisky and the offense looked like an actual offense. I don't know if that had any help whatsoever, but I think it does speak to the fact that he sees a group that has lost its confidence and, hey, remember what you guys used to look like? This was a functioning team.
But think about this. How far this has gone. This was a team that was in the playoffs a year ago. Technically, a botched kick away from advancing. And then now, half a year into the season, they're lost. Think about it. No offense. That is almost textbook bad coaching to get to this point.
It's hard to believe. It really is. Let's get real quick here. Larry and Elburn, thanks for your patience. You're on 720 WGN.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. The only way I can describe today's game, it's like taking a shower and you get out of the shower and you still feel gross. I mean, they won, but I don't feel any better about this team or this organization at all. And, they're just too smart for their own good. Starting with the GM, who is smarter than everybody, that had to move from 3 to 2. And, by the way, pay Mike Glennon, $18 million? Because that was his plan. And then you get to Nagy and the play calling. They are just way too smart for their own good. And, Hamp, you called it gobbledygook. That's what it is. And then when they do call the right plays, they don't execute.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you up against the clock here. OB, you want to respond to that?
Well, you know what, Larry? It's I tell you what, it's what you see, especially what's really defeating and depleting is when the Bears get into the red zone. In other words, I talk the 20-yard line going in. And there's so many plays that they could run that would give them 6 points, but we don't. We don't even try them. We don't even go into the end zone. We just try to make it. Hopefully we get convert on a third down. If not, we'll kick a field goal. That's been going on since Nagy's been here last year and this year. We don't see him go in for the striker. We don't see him go into the end zone. And I don't understand it. And I never will understand it. But I'll tell you what, until he starts playing football the way I think it should be played. Now, you get in that red zone, you score a touchdown. 3 points, that's down the road. The touchdown is the most important thing, time in and time out again, and we don't even try to do it.
Let's look ahead to the Rams. And, of course, last year the Bears, one of their signature wins was against the Rams on a Sunday night football game where the defense was phenomenal.
Let's remember what our quarterback did in that game.
Nothing.
He threw 3 interceptions. And here's what happened. It was a night game, and it came on the heels of him watching Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes light it up, throw it around, no-look pass, all that. So he thought he was going to be, king for the day. And he goes out there and, fails so miserably. But our offense didn't completely undermine us. Our defense, I think, sacked Jared Goff 7 times, and we had about 4 takeaways. So we controlled the game. What was it, 15-7, something like that?
15-6, yeah.
Okay. I'm telling you. They've had this game circled, the Rams. They've had this game circled all year long.
You mean revenge?
Oh, yeah.
From last year, you think?
They were embarrassed. And remember, they went on and went to the Super Bowl. That was the game that was kind of a catalyst moment. So they will be ready.